I had to look my 3-year-old daughter in the face and tell her Daddy couldn't play today. The worst part, I was taking medication that the doctor told me that I'd have a normal life again. But here is what they didn't tell me. So after about 1.5 years to 2 years of failed medications, the first year of being diagnosed, I ended up with like 4 courses of steroids, because after you end up getting down to about 2 weeks left, I ended up having another flare-up and started bleeding in urgency again. Then after that, they gave me some azathioprine, which is basically this tablet, which every time I took it, it would make me feel like I had headaches, a bit of fatigue, and just like crap. But that kind of brought me in some sort of remission for a few months. And then I had another flare-up. And at this point, I felt so desperate and so like needing a solution. The doctors gave me what they called was their cure. And this was the biologicals. This were the infusions where basically you take this medication which suppresses your immune system and makes you feel like, well, supposed to get you into remission. After the doctors told me about this medication, I thought finally, I felt there was a little bit of hope to actually getting back to normality, to actually feeling good again, because I was so fed up of taking this medication that made me feel like crap, or constantly flaring, that I needed something to get my life back. But after that first dose, within 24 hours, I felt like crap. I remember going to work and having the worst headache ever. I felt so drained and fatigued that I even had to go into the office and tell them, look, I have to go home because I feel so crap. And I remember getting picked up from work by my mum, coming to collect me, saying, are you okay? I'm like, no, I feel like utter crap. And getting a lift home and going straight to bed because I just felt like I'd been hit by a truck. I felt so crap. Then later on that day, I remember my daughter coming into the bedroom and saying, Daddy, are you coming to play? And I was just like, Daddy can't, he feels so ill. He doesn't feel very well at all. And then this wasn't just a random occurrence that happened because I started taking the medication. I noticed after I started taking this medication, you have to inject yourself every 2 weeks. I noticed the day after I had the injection and the day after that, I'd feel so drained, fatigued. I'd feel like I'd been hit, literally, by a truck every single time. And you imagine, every time if I had my daughter or if I was doing something and I just couldn't do it because the medication that was supposed to be giving me a normal life didn't. And not just that, because this suppresses your immune system. My daughter was at the age, obviously she was going to nursery and she was around other kids. Well, they get ill quite often. So there's me trying to become better, and I was having to tell my daughter, look, I can't see you tomorrow, or I can't see you the next day. And this is all while she was having colds, she was getting viruses. So if I got it, then I'd be 10 times worse and I wouldn't be able to then see even longer. So I was getting annoyed that I had to keep missing these random days because she was ill and I was taking this shitty medication. And one of the most worst things is I told the doctor how I felt and how these medications were basically taking me away from my daughter. And he said, this is normal. You just have to adjust to it. And it's just one of them side effects. If you want to get back into remission, this is what you've got to do. Which hurt me even more, the fact that I was putting myself first before my own daughter. And it came to about 18 months on this medication, and I was already thinking that I was in a good place with my UC. I hadn't had any flare-ups. So I was thinking about coming off the medication. And my daughter came up to me and told me, are you always going to be ill, Daddy? And it just broke my heart. It really broke me down to a point where I was like, you know what? No, not having this anymore. My young daughter is realizing that Daddy is ill a lot. So I told the doctor, look, I'm coming off this medication. I've had enough. I'm not staying on this medication anymore. I've been in a good place now for 18 months. It's not worth the other side effects. So after I decided to tell the doctors to fuck off, I'm not taking the medication. Fast forward to today where I found the carnivore diet, German new medicine, and really the healing principles to getting in remission. I've now been in clinical remission for nearly 2 years. And to top it off, my daughter's a lot older now, so she is a teenager, and we go out skateboarding, we go out on scooters, and I have as much energy as she needs me to have. And in actual fact, I'm probably got more energy than what she has. So there's me going around the skateboard track, and she is having to stop every few minutes because she's knackered. So I'm telling you now, there is a solution to healing UC. Imagine looking your family in the face and telling them that you're no longer sick. Imagine that smug look that you can say to your doctor and be like, I don't need your crappy medication anymore. Well, that feeling is definitely possible. Now I have my protocol in the top link in the description. It goes into everything that you need to getting healed for your UC and getting you in an amazing state. It goes into nutrition. So we use the prehistoric diet as a foundation to healing, because we want to make sure that your bowels are no longer getting irritated by all these other crap that basically just don't serve you. Then we go into German new medicine and mind and body connection, where we get over past traumas, food triggers, so you can actually eat the foods that you love. And then the healing principles of exercise and how it gets you in an amazing state because you don't feel fatigue anymore, you don't feel drained. The actual exercise itself gives you revitalization, even though you wouldn't think it did. Now, if you really want to heal and you want to obviously get in an amazing state so you don't have to tell your kids that you can't play with them, then that top link in the description. Now, if there's anything else you want me to show you or anything else you want me to talk about, then put in the comments below, and I'll see you again soon.